into what the article talks about as the difference between a business idea and a true opportunity.
Ah, okay, yeah. Because I think those terms get thrown around a lot and people don't always understand the distinction.
Right. So what do they say about that?
Well, they basically say that an idea is just a thought. Right. It's a concept.
Yeah.
Whereas a true opportunity has legs. It has potential. And they define an opportunity as a venture where customers are willing to pay more than what it costs to create and deliver the product or service.
So there has to be a real market need.
Right. It's not just something that you think would be cool or that you would want.
Right.
It has to be something that other people actually need and are willing to pay for.
Exactly. And I think what's also interesting about the way that they define it is that it takes into account all stakeholders, not just
Oh, interesting.
the entrepreneur.
So not just your own profit.
Right. So it's about creating value for the customers, for the employees,
Yeah.
for investors, even for the wider community.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like a more holistic view of what an opportunity is.
Right.
So can you give me an example of like a company that really embodies this idea of, a true opportunity?
Yeah, I think a company like Warby Parker is a great example
Okay, yeah. Tell me more.
because they disrupted the eyewear industry by offering stylish glasses at a much more affordable price
Yeah, they're really popular.
than what was previously available.
And they have a really cool social mission too, right?
Right. So they incorporate a social mission where they provide glasses to people in need.
Right. So it's like a win-win for everybody.
Right. So it's not just about selling a product. It's about solving a problem and making a positive impact in the process.
Right. It's about more than just a bottom line.
Exactly.
So that brings us to another important topic, funding. And the article talks about a bunch of different funding options, from bootstrapping to venture capital. And it's clear that there's no one right way to do it.
Right. It depends a lot on your individual circumstances and your risk tolerance.
Yeah, definitely. So how do you even begin to figure out, what the right approach is for you?
Well,
Where do you even start with all this?
right. It starts with understanding, how much risk are you comfortable with
Okay.
and what kind of growth are you aiming for? So bootstrapping, where you're funding the business yourself, gives you complete control, but it might limit your growth potential.
Yeah, that makes sense.
On the other hand, seeking outside investment, like venture capital, can fuel rapid expansion,
Uh-huh.
but you're giving up some equity and control.
Right. So there are trade-offs with every approach.
Exactly. And I think what's really important to keep in mind is that the article emphasizes that for successful entrepreneurs, securing funding is often an ongoing process.
Oh, okay. So it's not like you just get funding once and then you're good to go.
Right. It's a constant evolution. So you might start with bootstrapping
Okay.
and then, seek angel investors for your next stage of growth.
Uh-huh.
And then maybe eventually go for a Series A funding round to really scale up your operation.
Yeah, so it's like this constant cycle of, needing more resources as you grow.
Exactly.
And I think that's where things can start to feel really overwhelming for people who are just starting out.
Right.
It's like, where do I even begin with all of this?
Yeah. And I think what I appreciate about this article is it doesn't sugarcoat things. It really lays out the challenges and complexities of entrepreneurship in a very honest way.
Right. It's like a reality check,
Yeah.
but in a good way. Right.
Yeah.
Because it's empowering to have that information.
Right.
It's better to know what you're getting into.
Exactly. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we have.
From, debunking personality myths to exploring funding options.
So much to think about.
Right. But I want to bring it back to our listener for a second.
Okay.
Even if you're not planning to launch a business tomorrow, what can you take away from all of this?
Yeah. What's the takeaway for the average person?
Right.
What I find really interesting is how many of these entrepreneurial principles are applicable to life in general.
Right. Right.
So take curiosity, for example. You don't have to be in business to benefit from being a curious person.
Right.
Whether you're in a creative field, a technical field, anything,
Yeah.
that drive to learn and explore is always going to be an asset.
Right. It's about being a lifelong learner and, constantly kind of seeking out new knowledge and experiences.
Exactly. And those are qualities that will benefit you no matter what you do.
Right. And what about pattern recognition? That's another one that I think can be really valuable in any area of life.
Yeah, it's not just about spotting business trends. It's about understanding the world around you.
Right.
Right. And making connections that other people might miss.
Yeah.
And that can help you make better decisions in all kinds of areas.
Right. In your relationships, in your finances, in your, just everyday life.
Yeah. So it's like developing this sharper awareness of your surroundings
Right.
and being able to kind of anticipate what's coming next.
Mm-hmm.
And Then there's structured experimentation. We were talking about that in a business context, but what about applying that to your personal goals?
Oh, right.
So maybe you're trying to learn a new skill
Yeah.
or break a bad habit, and instead of being afraid of failing, you approach it as an opportunity to learn and adjust your approach.
Hmm. So it's embracing that growth mindset
Exactly.
where setbacks are not defeats, but they're data points that help you get closer to your goals.
Exactly. I love that. And of course, we can't forget about organizational skills.
Right.
That's essential for pretty much everyone.
Right. Whether you're managing a household budget,
Yeah.
planning